Hi, everyone. Today is October 17th, and welcome to another week of spending time with me. So I'm thrilled to be back, and thank you so much for all your thoughts and prayers. It was a rough week. I don't know about you guys, but I was hit with that stomach flu, and it was nasty. So, I just want to say thank you for all the calls, the check-ins, the emails, the texts, and the love that everyone showed me. It was fabulous. I'm feeling better, but my stomach is still a little bit on the soft side, so I'm still doing toast and crackers. So thank you for all the calls and the love. So I hope everyone is staying healthy. Hi, Sasha. Thank you so much for joining. Tonight, we're going to be doing what's called a group reading. And what I love about group readings is it's a really great way of being able to read a group of people. And sometimes the reading is pertinent to a lot of people in the group, and sometimes the reading is pertinent to only a few people in the group. That's why I figured tonight we would do a group reading. But before we actually get into the reading, I did want to just do some dashboard homework, as I would say, or dashboard items. And I also want to thank everyone who came out and supported us at the Phoenixville Psychic Fair. That was amazing, as well as 2 weeks ago at the Media Food and Craft Festival. That also was fantastic. I literally ran down Wanda Sykes from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and that was fun. So I don't think she liked it, but I was a little starstruck and thought it was fun just being able to introduce myself. So hello, Sasha. Hello, Mary Jane and Trinidad. Just a little dashboard items. How is everyone? I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like I haven't been able to breathe. I got braces on my lower teeth, and if I sound funny or like I'm slurring my words, I can assure you I'm not drinking, it's my braces. And I am starting to feel better, but I do hope everyone is staying healthy in this weather. My whole family, my kids and I just got through that stomach virus thing. So I did also want to let you know, coming up on October 31st, we're going to get ready and go into Mercury retrograde. And as we've talked about before, Bad Boy Mercury is all about karmic retribution, karmic lessons, and distribution. And I say distribution because Mercury retrograde for some people can be a time period of kind of, for a better lack of words, when shit goes down. For those of us that take accountability and are, what I say, awakened, it's a great period of self-introspection and learning and kind of taking stock of what's working for us. So Mercury in retrograde will be from October 31st, Halloween, all the way through November 20th. And during that time, generally, we encourage people, we as in the mediumship psychic realm, we encourage people not to sign contracts, not to pursue love interests, because that's usually where things and static and electrical things can go wonky, like cars. I know the last Mercury retrograde, my electronics went haywire. I mean, I'd be on the phone with someone. I have this stand for my cell phone. And I would literally be talking to someone, I'd have them on speakerphone, and my phone would automatically just dial someone else. So it's crazy. So just kind of during Mercury retrograde, don't look at it as a bad time, because what you think manifests itself. So I always look at Mercury retrograde and those periods as learning times that I can expand myself, kind of pull myself in and think, what can I do to change and evolve myself better? So other than that, let's get started. I promised you that we would talk about group readings. Group readings are basically when I take all my cards and I read the group of you that have joined me tonight. And I find it to be particularly fun because it's a great way of, instead of doing personal readings, it's a great way of reading the group. It can, in some ways, be non-personal because it's not as personal as reading a person directly or intimately, because I'm not reading one particular person, but I'm reading a group. And because of that, more people can be affected. So let's get started. And tell me how you like it. If you don't like it, we'll go back to the individual readings next week. I like to kind of change it up because I think part of mediumship and part of being a psychic is to change things up so I can suit your needs, because my job is to serve you and what we call spirit or God or the divine. So let me just stop for a second and say hello to everyone. I keep rubbing my hands because I don't know about you guys, but I'm freezing. Here, we live just outside of Philadelphia, and it's been really windy, like 35, 40 mile per hour winds. And it has just been cold all day. Like, I want to say in the 50s, and that's cold for me. So hi, Sasha and Mary Jane and Trinidad and Bonnie and Mary Jane and Sasha. Thank you so much for joining. So what I'm going to do is, as I mentioned before, excuse me, you all have the gift. I have the gift. Everybody has the gift. I feel like Oprah. You have the gift and you have the gift. That's our birthright. We are all born either medium or psychic. That is the way we are. Growing up, we were either taught either by our parents or by religious influences to turn off that psychic gut feeling. So mediums, which is what I am, are people that can connect to the other side. People who can basically, what I call, paint a loved one back to life. I've read people, and I've been able to describe someone's grandmom so intimately about her hair coloring, whether it was thick or thin, or her hands, were they big, were they small, was she short, was she tall, was she heavy, what was her favorite holiday. That's what a medium does. Everybody has a grandmom, everybody has a grandfather, but a medium should be able to tell you intimate details about that crossed over person. And because I'm also a registered nurse, I try to tie in my medical training as well. Though I am careful, I never diagnose. And I just posted, so just so you know, I would like you all to take time and read my last post about breast cancer awareness, because those facts are startling that I posted. I posted about 7 of the National Institutes of Health website, as well as the Centers for Disease Control website. Very, very interesting and startling about breast cancer in today's day and age. So let's get started. So as I mentioned, mediums are those that can connect to the other side, the spiritual realm, and paint a loved one back to life. Psychics, on the other hand, are those that can basically, they're banging. They are what I go to for predictions of my past, present, and future life events. A psychic is usually the type of person who can wake up in the morning and say, I think my supervisor is going to wear like a red top today. Oh, and I think she's going to be in a bitchy ass mood. And usually they're right. Or they're the type of people who will say, I think Kimber's going to call me today. And then sure enough, I call them and they'll be like, I was talking about you today. They are psychics. They're also the type of people who will usually call you out of the blue and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. Take a different route home today. I don't know why I'm being told to tell you this. They almost always, a true psychic, and I want to be crystal clear on this because there are a lot of con artists out there, and I read people all over the United States. A true psychic will never, and I'm going to say that again, will never say you have a negative energy attached to you. So if you've ever been read by someone who says you have a negative energy attached to you, you need to come back to me so I can get this energy detached from you, run from them. They're con artists. But a true psychic will always hold your soul and that space intimately because they have your best interest at hand. So if they do say, take a different route home, they're not forecasting anything negative. It's just because intuitively they got a vibe about the route. So a true psychic will always have your best interest at hand and not predict negative things. I do want to be clear about that because I'm always a little bit startled when I read people, how they're always a little afraid to meet me for the fear and the stereotype of these con artists who give us such a bad name. So I have two sets of cards that we're going to start with tonight. The first is my angel cards. This is from Doreen Virtue, and these are what I call my mediumship cards. These are basically one-word cards, like this says divine timing, this says playfulness. This is all about what I call the mediumship piece of being a medium or a psychic. Then I have my other set of cards, which is my tarot. And this is all about predicting the future. So what I do is I tie them both in together because I feel the mediumship piece pulls in our angels, because we all have angels. And I think that's really important. And then the tarot cards pull in the prediction of the future events for us. Some of the cards will resonate with you, some of them will not, and that's okay. Take from it what you will. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's get started. I do want to say, as I was getting ready and I was lighting my incense, because ever since my dad died, I have become, I don't want to say obsessed, but very ritualistic about lighting my incense before I do anything. And I could almost feel a dog running around me. So if one of you ladies or gentlemen out there has a dog, I wrote down mixed breed. It is basically a boxer and or German Shepherd. It is male. He is telling me he died at the age of 6 and he had a left hip problem. So that tells me degeneration in the hip area. He was put down early, again, at the age of 6 or around the age of 6. He came through. So whoever this dog belongs to, I want you to know I would be a shitty-ass medium if I didn't address him. The other person who came through was a grandfather-like person. He said his name was Charles and or Cade. I couldn't understand which was what. It could be Charles Cade or it could be just Cade. He talked in a southern drawl. He pointed to Louisiana and he showed me gator gumbo soup. What stands out with this gentleman, and this is someone's grandfather, because I always start off my readings with what I call the mediumship side of the house. If this resonates with you, please identify yourself if this is your grandfather. He had a glass left eye. Now, I'm going to caveat, those of you that have been following me know I'm colorblind. He pulled out his left eye, and it didn't freak me out because I'm a nurse, so I've seen prosthetic eyes before. And he said, whoever I'm reading in the group, whose grandfather he belongs to, would recognize him by the prosthetic eye, and it was definitely the left eye. So if this is your grandfather, Louisiana gator gumbo soup, Charles and or Cade. And the other thing I wrote down was quick flashes of cardiac, meaning I was led to believe he had either cardiac arrest is what killed him, but I also wrote down could have been quadruple bypass heart surgery before he actually crossed over. And the quadruple bypass surgery could have been a few years prior to his actual death. So if he belongs to you, please identify yourself. He does come through and sends great amount of love to whoever his family is. And then the last person who came through, and this is more of a rhetorical question. Someone in the group is thinking about a tattoo. And I wrote down, the tattoo that they're thinking about getting, the angels, or I should say their angels, because they didn't specify who they were, okay? But they said, go ahead and get the tattoo. And they showed me two things. I suck at drawing, by the way. They showed me an infinity symbol. So if there's someone in our group tonight who's thinking about getting an infinity symbol, I'm also going to show you what else they showed me. Something like the word family written in the infinity symbol, and or the name of a person written in the infinity symbol. If this belongs to you, I'm just letting you know that your angels, your angelic support team are saying, stop thinking about it and do it. Life is short. The other thing that they showed me was a Celtic symbol, and I didn't quite know what that meant. So Celtic would be Irish and or Ireland type tribal symbol. So if that belongs to you, that message, I'm just the messenger and I want to send you love and light. And you all know me. I've got 15 tattoos. So again, that's more of a rhetorical question that whoever that message belongs to, I bless you. Let's get started, shall we? Okay. I apologize if my screen keeps going out. We are having really, really high winds where I'm at. So most of our cables are underground, but I don't know, we're having a lot of high winds. So I'm hoping we don't lose a connection. Hi, Tori Ann and Brenda and Michelle and Darla and Deborah and Adrienne and Michelle and let me see who else is here. Penny and Darla and Penny and Kim and Sasha and Kimberly. So in case, if you just joined us late, today we're doing a group reading. I just gave several messages from the mediumship side of the house. We had a Charles and or Cade come through from Louisiana, alligator or gator gumbo soup. He definitely is a grandfather-like person, and he comes through with great love. If he belongs to you, please identify yourself. We had a dog come through. Again, I'm colorblind, so I apologize. I can't really say the coloration of the dog, but I wrote down German Shepherd and or Boxer mix, and the dog was a male. He died around the age of 6 years of age, and or he was put down, left hip problem. So his left back hip was what put him down because it was such a problem with his walking. He was in such pain. Let's get started. First card we're going to pull tonight is Miracles. And as I mentioned, a group reading is for everyone. This might or might not pertain to you, and that's okay. We're going to keep going. Miracles. Miracles are all around us at all times. With this particular card, what you think you manifest. So I'm trying to see how I can get this not so bright. Miracles basically are what you've been praying for or on your way. So I always say it's always a miracle when the angels answer our questions. You know, I believe it's in the book of Hebrews. I know it's in the book of Matthew. And I apologize for those who are not of the Christian origin because I don't want to be throwing out Bible verses, but I should say it is written that when you ask for something from your angels, step back and expect results. It's a fact. So whatever it is you've been asking for, this is confirmation. It is on its way to you. The second card I'm going to pull, and you guys saw me shuffle these cards. Blessings. How much more better could we get? Miracles and blessings. hand in hand. I love blessings because the more you acknowledge the gratitude of everything that you have, the more blessings the angels will bestow upon you. It's easy to sit there and say, I don't have, but it's so much easier to say, thank you for what I have, and the angels will give you more. The other thing I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this too, but I find when I give, I get so much more in return. So just something to think about with blessings. Whatever you've been asking your angels for in terms of miracles, because you've been expecting something, it's on its way. Here's the confirmation, blessings. Okay, the third card I'm going to pull is retreat. Now, a lot of people seem to think retreat is basically going away and being on your own. That's part of it, but retreat is also what we do for ourselves in our downtime. Retreat is all about, for me, I'll give you an example. I get my nails done. It's basically the time that I set aside for myself where I can just be Kimba. I can just not think about my clients. I cannot think about my hospice patients. I can kind of disconnect and just be me. So retreat is basically that. It's what you do in your downtime. And as soon as I'm saying that, I'm getting flashes of, so I'm not sure who this belongs to. I'm looking to my right. Someone in our group, I'm seeing in their bedroom, it's a purplish is what they're saying. And I say saying because, as you know, I'm colorblind. They're saying purplish bedroom. If I'm standing in the doorway, the bed is off to the left. So I'm standing in the doorway. See the door behind me? I'm standing in the doorway, looking into the bedroom. It is purplish is what they're saying. Bed is off to the left. And here you are propped up against your kind of headboard. And you're almost like this on your phone, which is fine. And you're doing your games, almost like the Calm app is what they're saying. So if this belongs to you, don't be afraid to say it's you. But that's what they're showing me. So retreat is basically what we do in our downtime for ourselves, by ourselves. That's what this card's all about. And I just got a flash. So if someone in this group has a purplish room, is what they're saying to me, because again, I'm colorblind. But if I'm looking in your room, off to the left is where your bed is. They're showing me. And I'm kind of like, okay, I see it. That's you. And that's fine. It's what we do as women and men to kind of it's our downtime. It's our private time. It's our time to regroup. That's what retreat is all about. It's not physical. It doesn't mean necessarily going away on a retreat. Because when I first saw this card, I thought, oh my God, is that like a church retreat? What is that? Okay, now I'm going to dovetail back to the first card that we talked about. We talked about miracles, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to build tarot on top of this. And I'm going to shuffle again because I'm so surprised that you guys saw me shuffle the Healing with the Angels cards, and I got two cards back to back, Miracles and Blessings, which I love. So taking Miracles, I got the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so basically what the Ace of Pentacles is all about is building a business, contracts, money coming in. As we've discussed many times, Pentacles, which is this little baby here. I want to put my pen down. This baby here. Pentacles are not about Wicca in the tarot deck. Pentacles are all about money. And if I could sing Donald Trump's Apprentice theme song, I'd be singing that right now. It's all about money coming into you by the spring. So whoever in this group is thinking about, thank you. I'm saying thank you to my angels. And I kind of have to go like this so you guys can see it's just me. It's just me in my office. See? I'm saying thank you to my angels because they just gave me a flash. Miracles. Someone has been praying for the ability to open up their own company. And here it is. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles is the tarot coming over it saying, boom, it's going to happen. So whoever in our group is thinking about leaving their job, opening up their own company, it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you when. I have to look at my pen because I want to make sure I do my tarot deck the honor and service that I don't write on it. When you look at this card really carefully, you can see how there's springtime here and the archway is basically gardened. So that tells me by the spring of next year, spring, I always say our seasons are off by about 2 or 3 months. Give yourself around March, April, maybe May. I think May's pushing it. They're saying it's pushing it. I think your business is going to be underway. So whatever you're doing now, whatever you're asking your angels for, whatever miracle, money to come through so you can open this venture, this business, here it is. Here's the tarot that goes on top of it. It's going to happen. So if that pertains to you, please, by all means, let us all know, because we want to honor you, and I'm all about women supporting women. And if there are any gentlemen in our group, of course, I support you too as well. Now, the next card we talked about, or the second card we talked about, was blessings. Blessings, as I mentioned, was the more you thank your angels for what you have and focus on what you have, the more they'll give you. If we focus on what we have, we'll tend to notice and be granted even more. It's basically gratitude in its simplest form. I've noticed when I give back, I get more. That's just something I've noticed. I don't know. Have you noticed that too? I just find that when I give back more, I tend to get more. So the tarot card that goes on top of this is the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands, depending upon how you look at it, I always interpret this as information coming in fast and furious. How do I know that? Because if you look at the wands, they're angled. They're angled in such a way that it's almost like an arrow or a dagger of information that's coming in fast and furious. See how they're all angled? And of course, I'm going the wrong way. So if I were to take my pen, they're all kind of going this way, right? So it's almost like they're flying in with information. So imagine it could be a fax, it could be a text message, it could be a phone call. Something is coming in fast to you that's going to be news of an unexpected blessing. And I find that amazing because I love blessings. And I find, don't forget to thank your angels when this comes through, because when it comes through, and I'm going to say this is going to come through fast. When I say fast, let's talk about that. I'm going to say by Sunday of this week, you're going to hear of something big. And it's going to be a blessing that you've been waiting for because you're kind of like, hey, I wish this would happen. Boom, it's going to happen. And when it does, fax, I don't think fax. I think this is going to be a phone call. I don't even think it's going to be a text because I think this is bigger. This is like worthy of a phone call, like ring, ring, hello, coming in. And it's going to be a blessing. And I think the blessing is going to be tied up for jobs for quite a few of you that are looking for a new job, that kind of have one foot in the door of their current job and one foot looking at another job. Now, the next card, as I mentioned, was retreat. Retreat is what we do in our downtime. I saw the visualization of someone in a purplish bedroom. And I say purplish because that's what they're saying to me. I can see the room because they're physically showing me if I'm standing in the doorway, the bed is not straight across from the doorway. The bed is off to the left. And this person sleeps on the left side of the bed. It's a single person. I feel this is a female, and she tends to kind of at night before she goes to bed, play on her cell phone. And this is her, this is just, it says Tucson when I went to Arizona. Yes, someone was asking me what's on the back of my phone, and it's Tucson. So basically, I feel like this person just kind of, this is what she does is her downtime. I'm also going to say something else, and this is going to sound creepy, but just hear me out. As I mentioned, retreat is what we do in our downtime to connect with ourselves. I get my nails done. It's kind of like the time where I don't have to think about my hospice patients. I don't have to worry about, are they okay? Are the families, do they need anything? I don't have to think about my next client. It's all about me. As soon as I say that, it's almost like I'm hearing there's a couple of people out there, and this is going to sound weird, so bear with me. We're doing a group reading. There are quite a few of you, and I say quite a few, that when you take a shower or a bath, that's your downtime. And that's the time shit gets done. And like when I say shit gets done, what I mean is that's the time you connect with spirit. That's the time that like you actually kind of do your prayers. I would not have thought of that. But it's a beautiful thing because, again, it's what we do in our spare time, our downtime for ourselves. How many times do we actually have the time and the freedom to be able to take a shower uninterrupted? I don't know about you guys, but when my kids were younger, I used to lock the door and be like, Mommy hearing, can't hear you, la, la, la. I mean, have you guys done that? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there was quite a few times where I was like, I just need some peace and quiet. So retreat, for those of you out there, Spirit just told me there's a couple of people that get hit and or do their spiritual connections when they're in the shower and or the bath. And it makes perfect sense because water is a conduit. So let's build on that. You can't make this shit up. Oh, can I say that with you guys? Okay. So this basically is the Seven of Cups. And Seven of Cups, again, you can't make this up. Retreat, I just mentioned, was what we do in our downtime. The other thing they're flashing in front of me is cleaning. Some of us, when we clean, that's the time that we kind of pull back into ourselves and focus and kind of regroup and kind of balance ourselves. This card is all about, what are you looking for? What is it that you need within yourself? What is it that you're searching for in your downtime? Again, I can't make this stuff up. Here's retreat. And as I mentioned, some people get their nails done. Some people get their hair done. Some people go for car rides because I'm also seeing people just opening up the car on the road. And that's kind of like when they play their music and just kind of zone out. And that's when they do their thinking. This card is all about, what are you searching for? Is this when you connect with your angels? Is this, what are you looking for here? Is this all about jewelry? Is this all about real estate? Is this all about holidays? Is this all about your material wealth? This is all the things that you think of when you are in your, what I call retreat, when we're in our mode of, this is my space, this is my time, this is when I am doing my thing for me. So as I mentioned, and because this is a group reading, there are some of us that do their retreat or their downtime when they're in the shower and or bath, and that's a beautiful thing because water is a conduit to the spiritual realm. There are some people I'm seeing going on car rides, and just when I say car rides, I'm not talking 5 minutes up the road to Wawa. Girlfriends and boyfriends, I'm talking like 40-minute drives where they have, thank you. It's like Spirit's even saying like smooth jazz on because that's a way of just disconnecting from your day-to-day stuff. So I love that. Now, we're going to go back again and we're going to start with miracles. And as I mentioned, miracles we built off of, we talked about the Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles is about money. We're going to build off of that again. This is the moon. The moon, I always say, is the best time to make a wish. It's the best time to basically tell the universe what it is you want. Tell your secrets to the moon. So going hand in hand with miracles and telling the universe what you want, what you expect, and then sitting back and waiting on results. Don't be shy. And, I always tell people, when you talk to your angels, it's like talking to employees. Delegate. I want this done by this time, and I'd like it done, like, for example, I say I'd like a 30% sales increase in my business by the end of this year. Make it realistic. I mean, if you tell your angels, I want 100% sales increase by December of this year, my angels are going to laugh at me and be like, what are you, on crack? So make it realistic. But basically, the moon is basically what I'm seeing here. And this is all interpretation, is I'm seeing the full moon. So this is the perfect time to tell your angels what miracle, what is really on your heart, what is your biggest desire. And on the full moon, make your needs known. Step back, because I feel like for a lot of you, this has to do with some sort of entrepreneur venture, something where you're investing monies. And I feel like it's a great time to kind of, under the full moon, say, hey, this is what I want. I'd like it by the spring of next year. I'd like at least an LLC. I'd like at least the finances to get the court stuff done. Like, be realistic. And I'd still like to be able to keep my job. Like, don't be afraid to delegate. Your angels are more happy, as we've always talked about, if you're specific. I choose or I choose not. So keep it specific and talk to your angels as if you're talking to me. And I always tell people, I'm pretty dumb. So talk to your angels like you're talking to me, and you'll have no problem. So miracles, okay? We've pulled tarot about Ace of Pentacles, which is basically all about money coming in by the spring. We talked about spring because of the growth of the trellis and the growth of the lilies. As you can see, the lilies here. So that tells me springtime is when this is going to come to fruition for you. And make your wishes on the full moon. So again, don't be afraid every full moon to basically say to the angels, this is what I need next. And break it into baby steps. Don't make it this big bomb, where it's like a 6-page request, because your angels are going to be like, oh, for the love of God, she's out of her fucking mind. Oh, can I say that with you? Okay, so break it down. Give them baby steps each month. And each time a little task is accomplished, check that off. Okay? Now, the next card we talked about was blessings. We built off of that the 8 of Wands, which talks about information coming in fast and furious. How do we know that? Because the angle of the wands. The wands are, in my interpretation, they're flying in like an arrow. Some people say when they look at these cards, they interpret that this is coming in by the spring because they have little leaves or growth on the wands. I don't believe that. I think this information is coming in by Sunday of this weekend. So whatever blessing you've been waiting for, please direct message me because I want to hear about it. And I pulled the Hermit to go on top of that. The Hermit is all about higher education, learning, teaching. This talks about winter time. How do I know that? Because before I lost my color vision with my diabetes, if I remember correctly, this card was like a greenish gray, which indicated winter time. Plus, this is snow. So this kind of talks about it being a grayish card, meaning darkness falls, in the winter, how the days become shorter. So that's why this card is indicating winter time. He's holding a light, which indicates teaching and education, which is important. So whatever this information is that's coming in ties into teaching and or education and or could even be an advanced degree in the works for you, which I love, and or something that you're doing to help others. So keep us posted. Now the next card we talked about was retreat. And retreat is one of my favorites because when I have to confess, when I first saw this card, I was like, what is that, like a church retreat? Oh. But then when I actually looked up the meaning, I'm like, oh, this is what we do for ourselves in our downtime. Oh, I got this. My hair, my nails, I'm cool with this. So as we mentioned, Spirit was showing me in our group reading, there are some of you that, yes, get their nails done, get their hairs done. And it's funny, I have to laugh because there are some of you that also get pedicures done. And I laugh because I could never get my feet done. I would kick the girl in the head because I'm so ticklish. So for those of you that get your feet done, kudos to you. I've always wanted to get my feet done and sit in one of those massage chairs, but I'm petrified I will kick the girl in the head because I'm so ticklish. But Spirit showed me there are those of you that are in the shower and or the bath. You take longer showers because that's when you connect. That's when you do your prayers. And that makes perfect sense because water is a conduit to the spiritual realm. There are those that jump in the car. I'm seeing that play jazz, smooth jazz. And I'm not talking 5 minutes to Wawa. I'm talking 40 minutes plus in the car just to kind of go nowhere. Kind of like a ride to nowhere, but that's your downtime. That's your time where it's just you and you have time to think. And then Spirit's also showing me there are those of you that retreat is about cleaning. And I'm one of those people. So if you ever come to my house, you'll see. If you see me cleaning, start to worry because that usually means there's something on my mind. And it's not bad. It's just the way I kind of disconnect and it's my downtime. So we build off of that, the Seven of Cups. And as we mentioned, Seven of Cups is all about what are you searching for? What are you looking for? What is it about you within yourself that you are still trying to find? Okay, so we're going to build on this. Isn't this fun? It's kind of something different. This is the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is, again, all about business, contracts, things being signed. This is also about a party that's coming up. How do I know that? Well, the man is on a horse, and there's people in the background over here. And I know this has to do with your downtime and something that you've been wanting, but this also tells me Christmas time. How do I know that? Right here. Right here. Right there. Christmas. So whatever you've been looking for, whatever you've been searching for, that missing piece, that restlessness of introspection, you're going to find it. And you're going to find it around Christmas time. So be patient with yourself. We are all a beautiful, hot mess of a work in progress. And it's always easy to be hard on ourselves than it is to kind of give ourselves the slack that we need. And this tells me right here, sorry, Christmas time, whatever it is you're searching for, you're going to find it. And you're going to kind of come to a resolution that you're going to be peaceful with. But whatever it is you're searching for, it's okay. Now, we're going to kind of clear these cards. I'm going to kind of push them to the side, and we're going to do another round. You up for that? Okay. So I'm pulling 3 more of my, I just had my cat Juju. She just ran out. I want to grab her so I can show her to you. She's my rescue cat. I pulled 3 more of my Healing with Angels cards. The first one I pulled is Enchantment. Enchantment is basically what we did as kids to be innocents. It's that lost youth. It's that lost childhood. It's basically what I tell people, you know, as we get older, we kind of get more serious because life weighs us down. You know, we get married, and that can be good or bad depending upon the choice that we make. We have mortgages, car payments, bills. We have kids. But when we were children, we didn't care about really too much in the world. We didn't care if we were rich or if we were poor. We didn't care if we had hand-me-downs. We didn't care about social statuses. That's what this card is about, getting back to that innocence of childhood. It's about putting on your headphones and blaring your music and going back to what you did as a child that made you happy, and not giving a rat's ass about what other people think or competing with the Joneses. It's basically finding your inner sanctum of your childhood. That's what this card is about. That's why there's a unicorn on this card, because unicorns are magical. It's about finding that magic within us from childhood and bringing that forward into adulthood, because everyone's quick to tell us, you're an adult, be an adult. No one's ever quick to tell us, you're an adult, be a fucking kid again. Well, I'm telling you tonight, you're an adult, be a kid again. The next card is balance. This is all about finding balance between work life, home life, and basically life in general. It's work, it's home, it's everything that pulls us in all these different directions, and we're frazzled because guess what? The holidays are coming up and we have family. That can be good and that can be bad, but there's almost always some family member or family members that can kind of, make it difficult. So this is about finding your peace and your balance and staying even-keeled at all times. The next card is New Beginnings. New Beginnings is basically finding I'm seeing for quite a few of you, moving. And I'm being told, here, not there. And as soon as I say that, it's almost like the angels are saying, there's quite a few of you that will be moving by next year, 2020, and here, not there. So what that means is you're basically going to be staying here where you're generally at versus there where you've been thinking. So write that down. Okay, new beginnings. New beginnings for also quite a few of you will be starting new jobs and new ventures. So I'm excited about that. We're going to go back to enchantment. Enchantment, as I mentioned, is all about finding your inner child, for a better lack of words. This is a beautiful card. A lot of people don't like this card. I love it because this is all about letting your inhibitions go. As you can see, the woman is blindfolded, but you can also see she's holding two swords. So this card is basically all about self-anxiety, self-limitations that are imposed by yourself. How do I know that? Because when you look at the card really carefully, you see she's holding two swords. But if she would just let go of the swords, she'd have the freedom of her hand to take the blindfold off. So this card is all about self-imposed anxieties, self-imposed norms, values, all things that we do to ourselves. I don't know about you, but my brain always seems to wake me up at like 2 a.m. and say, hey, Kimba, let's review the events of the day. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's 2 a.m. So that's what this card is about. And it goes right with enchantment, because enchantment is about finding your inner child, about being uninhibited, about doing what makes you happy and not giving a rat's ass about what anybody else thinks. If you want to color, color. If you want to bake, bake. If you want to sing in the shower, sing and dance like there's nobody watching, because I can assure you they're not. They're watching their phones. Okay, and this card here, the Two of Swords, is basically all about don't let your own anxieties, don't let your own blocks mentally stop you from doing what makes you happy. Because as you can see, she's holding two swords, and if she realized she could drop the swords, she could take off the blindfold. That's what this is all about. So this is all about your own insecurities, so to speak, in reference to your childhood wants and needs. Kind of cool, huh? You can't make this shit up. That's what I love about what I do. As we mentioned, the next card was about balance. Balance has a lot to do with work and home life and life in general. I mean, we switch so many hats between work and play and being mothers and fathers and just helping others in general. And as I mentioned, the holidays are coming up. So now we have to add to that mix family. And there's always one or two family members that kind of know how to, for better lack of words, stir the shit pot. So the tarot card I pulled with this is the Hanged Man. And a lot of people, when they get this card, they always say to me, Kimba, isn't that a bad card? And I'm like, it's a beautiful card. This card couldn't be any more beautiful. I call this, in my nursing lingo, because you know I'm a nurse, the waiting room. Almost like when you go to the emergency room, you're in that waiting room, waiting to be seen. That's what this card is all about. As you can see, he's got knowledge, which is the yellow around his head. He's completely comfortable. His arms are behind his back, so he's not uncomfortable. His leg is crossed, which tells me he's just hanging out. And his one foot is actually tied. So is he uncomfortable? Absolutely not. He's just waiting it out. That's what this card is all about in terms of balance. It's about waiting things out. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, Mercury retrograde is coming up. So balance is going to come into play with Mercury retrograde. And it isn't about fear. I have a lot of friends who are like, oh, Mercury retrograde. And I'm like, really? Mercury retrograde should all just be about stepping back, pausing, and thinking before you react. That's all this is about. The Hanged Man. That's all he's doing, is he's just waiting. He's waiting for his next steps. That's what balance is all about. So don't let the holidays frazzle you, and don't let Aunt Matilda or whoever razz you. Just chew on your food, look them in the eye, and then pause before you answer. I usually, it's kind of like that Twix commercial where like the woman says to the guy, do I look fat? And he stuffs the whole candy bar in his mouth. Do something like that. Nobody says you have to answer them right away or within 5 seconds. Take your time. I'd even take a sip of my wine. Oh, I can't drink. I'm a diabetic. But you get the idea. Okay, next card, New Beginnings. New Beginnings, as I mentioned, because I see for quite a few of you, is here, not there, meaning you're going to be moving. And that means in the area of where you're already at versus there further out. For another group of you, that means you're going to be getting a new job. And for a third group of you, that means you're going to be getting a new job altogether because you're toying with entrepreneurship. When I pull tarot on top of that, I get the Empress. The Empress is all about things that are birth of projects. Again, I cannot make this stuff up. So new beginnings, and in this particular case, the Empress usually means in tarot, fertility or pregnancy. But in this particular case, because it's thrown with new beginnings, I'm going to tell you this means entrepreneurship. This means new business. This means new home. This means new job. That's what this means. There are probably a couple of people that are going to get pregnant, but I believe you're not going to hear that closer to December. So DM me, direct message me when you do hear of any pregnancies, because I will be happy to try to tell you if it's a boy or a girl. I'm usually about 90% accurate in terms of forecasting if it's a girl or a boy. So I will be happy to help you with that. Now we're going to go back. We're going to go back to where we started, enchantment. As we mentioned, enchantment was all about your inner child. Unicorns are magical. You're also magical. So we talked about don't let your insecurities, don't let society, don't let your brain mind fuck you. Can I say that? Can I just be blunt? I used to be an operating room nurse. So we curse. I always say I don't trust people that don't curse, because I just think there's a certain rawness and realness in cursing. And it's not right. I'm going to say that right off the bat, but it's a bad habit I have. But if that's my only vice, I'm ahead of the game. So with enchantment and our childhood, this is about, don't let your insecurities get in the way of who you are or what you want to do to be happy. So if you want to bake cookies because you haven't done that in years, go ahead and go back to that. I also feel like there's a couple of you who want to get back into some traditional cooking because you've lost that because of grandparents that have passed on. Do that for the upcoming holidays. This is the perfect time to do that. And what a great way of connecting to your childhood. Don't let your fears and or insecurities get in the way, because as we talked about with the Two of Swords, this is self-imposed. This is all about your mind playing games with you, because she's clearly in control and she can let go of those swords to take the blinders off. We're going to build on this. This is basically the Five of Swords. This is all about ideas and things that are being taken from you. So building off of enchantment and childhood ideals and going back to your childhood, don't let the current present time of your job, family, your mortgage, your marriage, your kids, your job, you get the idea, rob you of being happy. You alone are responsible for your happiness. Thank you. And it's almost like the angels are saying, stop giving the goddamn key to other people and expecting results. So does that make sense? Okay. So basically for enchantment, we have the Two of Swords, and then we have the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords in this particular case basically means don't give away your happiness to other people and expect results. You are responsible for your happiness. And I'm also going to take that a step further. If, and I say if you're looking for happiness in other people, relationships, a job, if you're looking for happiness outside of who you are not going to be happy. Does that make sense? Okay. I just want to be clear about that, because that's also what this card indicates. This card indicates don't let other people, other things steal your happiness, because happiness should come from you and not be validated from outside sources. Okay? Now, we're going to go back to balance. As I mentioned, balance is all about basically what we juggle. We juggle family, we juggle work life, we juggle kids, we juggle the extended family, we juggle everything. And then and the holidays are coming up. I don't know about you, but when I was married, I'm divorced now, it was always a little stressful with my ex's family. So this card is all about the waiting room, waiting it out. So find your balance. Whatever is stressing you out, pause, hit the pause button and just wait it out. Nobody says you have to have an answer for everything. And nobody says you have to have an answer within 10 seconds. Take your time, hit the pause button. Nobody ever teaches us, hey, hit the pause button. And I'm telling you, it's okay to hit the pause button. So on top of this, we're going to build with the World. Now, what I love about the World is the World card is a beautiful card. If you notice, it's got all the elements. It's got wind, air, fire, and it's got wind, air, fire, and earth. So it's got all the elements of the zodiac. It basically has a dancer. I love it because she's naked. And a lot of people are like, Kimber, are you creepy? No, it means she has nothing to hide. So this means that with balance, you've come to a point in your life where you're just kind of like, I have nothing to hide anymore. There's nothing more that I could hide to take away what is frazzling me out. That's what this card is about. And I'm also going to say something else. You see what she's holding? Some people say they're batons. I say they're pens. And in this particular case, some of you, I'm being led to say, should start writing, because if you're not blogging, you would be a great blogger. And that's what this card is all about. Balance, hitting that pause button, and writing, because I think this is all about kind of coming into your own and basically finding what works for you, and basically hitting the pause button and saying, you know what, that doesn't work for me anymore. This is what works for me, and this is how I'm going to do it from now on. And it's basically about taking control. That's what she's doing in this card. As I mentioned, it's got all the elements: land, air, water, and fire. That's all the elements of the zodiac. So she's in control, and that's what this card is all about. Again, I cannot make this up. And the last card was new beginnings. New beginnings, new job, new entrepreneurship, changing jobs, changing homes. As I said, I heard here, not there. So if you're planning on moving, it's going to happen by 2020, and you're going to stay local compared to moving out further where you thought you were going to be moving. I also saw the Empress in the tarot deck. The Empress traditionally means fertility, birth, physical birth. In this particular case, this particular card implies birth of a project, new ideas, new things coming together, which ties right in line with new home, new job, new entrepreneur type venture. That's what this card is all about. Now we're going to throw another card. Queen of Swords. I love Queen of Swords women. Not many mediums like Queen of Swords women. I particularly do. Queen of Swords women generally are divorced. They not always are, but they usually are a little bit older, wiser, and they've kind of been around enough to have learned lessons. What I love about Queen of Swords women is they're educated. You see how she has the one hand out? So she's very receptive to hearing what you have to say, but she also has a sword. So that tells me she's fair. She's going to hear you out, but at the same time, if she feels you're being unrealistic, she's going to cut you off. And I surround myself by Queen of Swords women because I'm a Pisces. And if any of you are Pisces out there, you might know we sometimes have trouble setting boundaries with people. These people don't. They will cut you off in a second and be like, not my problem. These are usually Virgos, Libras, sometimes Scorpios. They don't care. It's not that they don't care. They're just better at setting boundaries is how I prefer to look at it. So coming up with new beginnings, I see and this ties hand in hand with new ventures, signing of contracts, moving, entrepreneurship. This is the type of person you want in your corner. This is the type of person you want supporting you. This is the type of person you want helping you sign that contract because you know she's going to have your back. You know she's going to be fair. You know she's going to be looking out for you. And you know she is not going to do you wrong. So that pretty much, my loves, is a group reading. I hope I've served you all well. If you are one of the three, the grandmom, the grandfather, and or the dog, please direct message me and let me know if they belong to you, and or if you're the person that had the message for continuing your tattoo of the infinity symbol with the word family and or someone's name. And I wrote it like this. So if you're thinking of continuing on your tattoos, it's more of a rhetorical question. The angelic realm is saying, go ahead, do it. Now's the time. And they also showed me a Celtic symbol. I can't draw that. So I'm just going to say Celtic because they're saying, the angels are saying you would know who this belongs to. And I have 15 tattoos, so go ahead with your badass self. Mercury retrograde is coming up October 31st through November 20th. Be good to yourselves. And of course, never look down on anyone unless you're helping them up. So until next week, I hope to be on next week. Be good to yourselves. And of course, you're always welcome to reach out to me. Love and light. And I will talk to you then. Have a good night. Bye-bye.